One of the definitions that I want to cover before we start the semester is the definition of a term. We're going to have all kinds of different operations with terms, distributing terms, combining terms, simplifying terms. If we don't have a good foundation with the different parts of a term, then some of those operations later may be more difficult. So I want to name that 3 in front is what's called the coefficient. The coefficient is a term, a definition that we're going to use quite a bit. The definition of a coefficient is what we multiply in front. This means 3 times x to the 5th power. Well, the power, that 5, one of the easy ones, one of the ones we probably knew before we started this, is what's called the exponent. The exponent is what we raise what we call the base to. And the exponent only applies to the base. We'll see that in just a minute. Now, I know a lot of people want to call that the variable, and it is a variable in this case. But later, terms that we're going to be talking about, exponential functions, are when all 3 could be variables. And we'll talk about that in time. These can or cannot be variables, but in any case, the coefficient is what you multiply in front. The base is what you raise to the power of the exponent. Now, when we look at this, if we look at what an exponent is, when I look at that x to the 5th power, what that means is to have an exponent of 5 means we take the base, x, times itself, the exponent, in this case, 5 times. That x times itself 5 times. X to the 5th power means x times x times x times x. We commonly hear x times 5, and I know what students mean when they say it, but that does not mean multiplying it times 5. It means the base times itself 5 times. Well, if we have a coefficient of 3, remember a coefficient means what I'm multiplying in front. This means 3 times x times x times x times x times x. Notice that 5 only applies to the base. And while that might seem more apparent right now, when we talk about signs later, or when we look at these with different polynomials, it may be tempting to want to raise that 3. That 5 does not apply to that 3. And we'll see some examples here coming up. What we really want to focus on, the coefficient is what I multiply in front. The base is what I raise to the power of the exponent.